Today we are going to talk about our lab, and we will do some initial configuration on Palo Alto firewall. So this is our lab, okay, and currently you can see that there are two firewall over here in the lab, okay, which are back to back connected. So why we have put two firewall? We have put two firewall just because of we will perform um, HA configuration in future, right? And for HA configuration, we require a back-to-back connection. That's why we have configured back-to-back connection. So these are the firewall, and if you see on the firewall, we have the management interface. We would access these firewall, okay, using management interface. And this is the workstation, which would be used for management access. So one of the interface would be having the IP, which would be same range, which have the management interface, and the other interface I would use for this PC as an internal access. So here you can see that there are Ethernet 1/1. This would be used for the internal, and Ethernet 1/2 would be used for external, and Ethernet 1/7 would be used for the DMZ, right? So this is how our firewall is lab is set up. I'm just going to start with the basic configuration. So what is the basic configuration? Whenever you would receive the firewall, what are the basic configuration you would do, guys?
Like creating the username password.
First of all, management interface IP, yeah, IP, host name, etc. Defining host name. What else? Username, creating user. Time, date and time configuration. So all these are the basic configuration which we are going to do, right? So let's start with these basic configuration. Sorry, let's start with these basic configuration. So I have my lab. In my lab, what I'm just going to do, let me just tell you.
So, Amar, would managing the appliance, for example, we discussed yesterday, it was will it be managed uh, at the site or locally or through Panorama? That's the registration part. How will it configure?
I mean, Panorama we are going to cover in later classes. Right now this is individual firewall, okay?
Okay.
So
We don't
we
have to configure that, and
no
that should come under basic.
Panorama we will yeah, Panorama configuration also would come under basic, right? But right now we don't have a Panorama on this particular lab. So Panorama we are going to cover in later classes. Yeah, so Panorama, if you have Panorama, so definitely you have to integrate your firewall with the Panorama. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to do the basic configuration, and if you see, this is the lab, and in this lab, what basic configuration we are going to perform. In basic configuration, first of all, I would assign IP to this management interface. So this is the management interface, and for this management interface, I'm just going to assign IP. So I'm just going to tell you that what subnet we are going to use. So for management, we are going to use this subnet 10.0.0.0/24. So this is my first firewall. So for first firewall, I would assign the first IP dot one. That means 10.0.0.1. I would assign to this management. And for this is second one. So for this I'm going to assign dot. Okay. We have Ethernet 1/1. So Ethernet 1/1 we are going to use as an internal interface. Okay. And for this internal one, I'm going to assign IP 192.168.2.0.
There is a lot of background noise. It's a static noise that we get.
There is some issue on this here. Just give me a minute. I think I need to change some settings on Teams.
It sounds like a static noise.
Okay, give me one.
Came from laptop NGD9 VLC file.
Okay, is there still noise?
No, this is better.
Okay. Okay, so I have removed the earphone and now my voice will be better. So Ethernet 1/1, I'm just going to use this interface as a internal interface on both firewall. So this would be used as an internal. That means we need to create a zone for internal. And Ethernet 1/2 I would use as an external, and for this I'm just going to assign IP 100.0.0.0/24, and that would be used for external. So do remember, for first firewall I would always take .1, and for second firewall I would take .2. That means if I talk about Ethernet 1/1, so for this firewall, this is second firewall, Palo Alto 2. So for Palo Alto 2, I'm just going to use this IP. 100.0, sorry, this is internal, right? So for internal, I would use 192.168.2.2/24, and this is my first firewall. So for first firewall, I would use 192.168.2.1/24, right? So let me just go and configure these devices according to this topology. So here we are, and if you see over here, we have the firewall, and if you want to access the console of firewall, it's a very easy. You can access the console of firewall by clicking on the firewall itself. Okay. Usually in normal cases, if you want to access the console, okay, if you have physical appliance, so definitely you have to connect the console cable from your system to the firewall, right? But if you have virtual firewall, you don't need to connect the console cable. You would just click over here, and it's going to open right here. So you can see that I'm able to open this Palo Alto firewall, Palo Alto 2 as well. So by default, if you want to log in on the firewall, right? So simply you can log in with the admin username and admin password. Okay. Once you log in, it is going to open this console. So in console, we have two modes. Basically, these are the CLI changes mode, I can say. So in CLI changes mode, you have a two mode. One is the operational mode, and other is a configurational mode. Configuration mode, right? So right now we are in operation mode. In operation mode, we can view the information about the firewall, okay, and the traffic which is going through the firewall, and we can also view the information about the panorama, log collector, etc. Okay, so we use operation mode command. There are few commands in operation mode. For example, show is a command for the operation mode. So we use few commands in operation mode to view the information. But if we want to change the configuration, so definitely we need to move into the configuration mode. So we are in the operation mode right now, and I would go on my first firewall, and over here from operation mode to I would switch to configuration mode. Okay, so this is operational mode. In operational mode, we can run few commands. For example, show system information. So you can see the device information over here. What is the host name of this firewall? What is the management IP? We don't have any management IP assigned to this firewall, right? What is the model number of the firewall? Okay, what is the software version? All those things information you can see over here, right? So what we just want to do, we just want to perform some configuration. The configuration is the IP configuration to the management interface, right? So we need to move into the configuration mode. So if we want to move configuration mode, so we can run the command configure and press enter. So we are in the configuration mode now. Now we can run the command which is related to assigning the IP address to the management interface, right? So let's assign IP address to the management interface. Let's perform this task. So we can run the command set device config static, because we just want to define static IP, not IP through DSCP. That's why I have run static command, and then we can run the command set device config system IP address and put the IP address n.0.0.1 and net mask 255.255.255.0. Now whatever the changes we have done, okay, we need to commit this, then it is going to be affected. So let's commit this, and once we commit, this changes is going to push into the firewall. Okay, so now these changes has been pushed into the firewall, and now same thing we can do, and we can same thing we can do on the Palo Alto 2 as well. So this is Palo Alto 2, and let's do same changes over here. So let's go to configuration mode, and we can run the command set device config static set device config IP dash address 10.0.0.2. I'm assigning 10.0.0.2 mask 255.2. Commit the changes. Okay, Palo Alto do recommend that whatever changes you want to do, mostly you can perform the changes using GUI. So rest of the configuration we are going to perform using GUI, host name, user creation, date and time configuration. We will do using GUI. Okay, so we can access this firewall using GUI, but before accessing this firewall, let me verify that the IP which we have assigned to the management interface, whether that has been changed or not. So we can go on exit mode, and here we can run the command show interface management. We can see that now IP has been changed. Okay, so now I can try to access this workstation. Let me just click here. Let me see if I can ping that interface IP ping n.0.0.1. I'm not able to ping. So let's see if this system has some IP. So I'm just going to assign IP to this system. If you see in the topology, it has three interfaces. So I'm just going to assign IP to Ethernet 2. and 802.
Amar, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Go on this system and try to assign IP.
Amar, can you hear me?
0.0.0.10 to this system.
Hello.
I do not require because the management
Hello.
is connected and I'm not going to route the management interface. Let me just try if I can ping.
Hello, Amar. Can you hear? Hello.
Okay, I'm not able to ping. Let me just check. We have assigned IP to right interface.
Yes, you're audible. Can you hear us? No, we can't hear you now.
Okay, just give me a minute, guys. I'm not able to hear you. Okay, can you guys speak now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Hi,
It
Amar.
weird audio. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so I had a question.
Mhm.
So, when we configured the Palo Alto appliance, right? When we configured the management IP address, right? So,
Mhm.
was that the first time when you power on the Palo Alto? That's the page we get, or does it have a different page we look and when we first time power on the appliance?
Basically, if you go on the physical appliance, so by default you would get some IP on the firewall already
O-
assigned, management IP already assigned.
Okay,
So there is a way whether you can configure same range of IP address to your machine and try to connect a back-to-back cable from your system to Palo Alto management interface and access via HTTPS. That is the one way.
right,
Else, you can connect your console cable to the Palo Alto firewall, right?
right.
And after connecting console to Palo Alto firewall, you just start your device. And once you start device, you would be getting the console screen. And you can check what is the IP address post login. So default username and password would be admin, and then you can access it.
Okay, so as soon as I power on, it automatically gives us the IP, default IP. Is
Yeah,
that
it,
right?
it would be it
Okay,
would be having default IP,
okay.
It would be having like 192.168 series, right?
right?
Okay.
45.1 or is it 45.45? Is that
Uh,
something?
no, that,
Because
that
with
I
Cisco
think that
appliances,
that is for Cisco appliance.
yeah, that's for
Would be
Cisco.
having, I mean, it would be written on the device itself, but
Okay,
usually it would be 192.168.1.1.
1.1. Okay.
Yeah,
Now for
that
the management access, is there a access list that we need to allow?
no, you don't need to allow any access
It's a
list.
trusted zone.
No, that's management. It's a separate zone, right? So you don't need any access list for that.
Okay.
And like in Junos, here we have like commit check and commit, or we need to only option is commit.
Yeah, there is option to, if you want to check, you can check as well, but you can run the commit command as well. So both the options you have over here. Before committing, you can check as well whether your configuration is right or not.
Okay, so in case if I did not commit it, if one of the engineer did not commit it, so I can view, right? So what the changes he has done.
Yeah, without commit, yes, you can see that what the changes a particular person has done. There is two options. One is the commit and other is save. So save, when you are pushing save button, that is just going to save into the system, but not going to be part of running configuration, right? So when you push the commit button, then it is going to be part of your running configuration. All right, so let me just go over here and try to access. I'm not able to access, so I need to catch right interface of this system. Ethernet 1 or Ethernet 2. And assign the same range IP. Let me just try that. This is internet interface. 0.10. Okay. Okay, so now I'm getting the response from the firewall and I should be able to access now. So rename these interface. This is connected to internet. This one is a management interface. And this one I would assign internal later. So let me just try to access my firewall here because I'm able to ping, so I would be able to access both firewalls. HTTPS //n.0.0.1. Go to advanced option, proceed and save, and I should be able to access using username admin and password is also admin. That's a default username and password. Okay, so you can see I'm able to access, and there are a lot of information you can see over here. So these are the Palo Alto dashboard, and we have different options. We have dashboard, ACC, monitor, policies, object network, and devices. So I would start from dashboard. What is the meaning of this dashboard? So in dashboard you can see general information and some system resources information as well. You can see. So in general information, you can see what is the device name. That means host name of this device. This is management IP. Subnet mask. If you have defined any gateway for the management, if you just want to make this device management routable, so you need to configure gateway. On management interface, you can define IP version 6 as well, but we haven't defined, so it has taken link local address over here. This is the management MAC address, and this is the model number of the Palo Alto firewall. So we have different types of model in the Palo Alto firewall, which we are going to cover today itself. Let me show you. We have different, model number of the Palo Alto firewall that you can see over here. But when I try to access my device over here, here it is showing the model number. So it is showing PAVM. That means this is Palo Alto VM virtual machine device, because this is set up on the virtual machine. Serial number, it would only show if your device is activated. If not activated, you won't be able to see any device, any serial number. Then this is the CPU ID, unique ID, license. So right now this is not licensed, that's why it is showing none. The virtual machine is installed on where? So this is installed on the KVM virtualization. This is the software version. Software version is what? That is PAN operating system version, PAN OS version. So right now this is 8.0.5. Okay, but we can upgrade it to any other version. Here you can see global protect. That's a global protect agent for the RA VPN. So if you want to use remote access VPN, so you might have seen that if you don't have a VPN client and you just want to access the VPN gateway, so once you access the VPN gateway, your gateway itself is giving you option to download the VPN client, right? So global protect is nothing but here it is RA VPN, remote access VPN. So that's a remote access VPN client version. So if you have uploaded any client version on the firewall for remote access, so it is showing over here. This is the application version. So basically, we have the application ID, and this is the application ID version over here. URL filtering version. We don't have any client list VPN version right now. Date and time you can see, and how long it has been up you can see over here. Here you can see information about the system resources, what is the utilization of management CPU and data plane CPU, and how many number of session currently is going through the firewall. Apart from that, you can see some logged in admin information. So the admin user has logged in two way. One is the console and other is a web. So that's it is going to show over here. Any data types of logs you are going to see here. Any system logs you are going to see over here. Okay. Or any configuration type of log you are going to see over here. So if I'm just going to run any command, right? So that command's log you are going to see over here. Apart from that, you can see in the dashboard that if you want to add any more information, for example, interface types of information, so you can simply click on these widgets, and here you can see that additional information you can add. So in system, you can see in system, I can click on the interface, so additional widgets going to be added over here. And if you want to remove that, you can just click and it is going to be removed. Okay. So GUI of the Palo Alto is really very great. Okay. And you can see a lot of information through GUI and you can do the configuration through GUI. Now I'm looking back.
On the GUI, you saw application version, right? So that is specific to the GUI application that we are seeing, or is it regarding the yesterday we talked about app ID?
So basically we have different types of profile over here, right? That's the IAP ID itself. The application version is nothing but that's the IAP ID. Okay, now I'm going to talk about other thing that going to be over here for hostname configuration. So hostname configuration and datetime configuration you can do from same place, which is device over here. So if you want to do any configuration related to device, so you need to click on this device tab. And here you can see lot of information. What all the information you can see over here? Here in the setup options, you can see that we just want to set up a management, and for management setup, this is the general setting where you can see lot of information where you can set up many things: host name, domain, login version, etc. So let's start from here. Let's try to set up host name. So I'm just putting this firewall host name as a Palo Alto one, and domain name I'm putting UniNets. Login banner I'm putting authorized use only. Make sure you should not put any welcome. Okay. And date and time you can set from here. So if you want to change date and time, you can set. I'm not going to change it. Let's keep it default. And this changes would not be effective unless you commit. So we have the option to commit, and here we have the option for configuration, save option. So if you click on commit, this is going to be commit, And before commit, if you just want to validate commit, so you can validate commit from here. Okay, so if you click on this validate commit, this is going to validate, and post validation you can click on the commit option. Okay, successfully validated. Okay, configuration is valid. I can click on commit and this would be effective. Okay, so this is finally committed, and you can see over here the commit has done. Now I'm going to show you that whatever the changes we have done, that is showing now. You can see the host name, it is showing, and you can check here as well using CLI. Let's log in, and you can see here the name has been changed. So if I run the command show info, and host name has been changed, and it would be showing over here. You can see the same thing which we were showing on the dashboard earlier, right? Sorry, on dashboard earlier, same thing we can see using this particular command, show system info. The same we can see over here.